want to invite you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is a little closer together than I usually film them, but last week I had events going on and didn't get around to this till later. I am experimenting with sound again. This time I have the correct camera, and you can't see, but it's right down here. You can't see my document camera that I'm using to film all this. This week I have a little bit smaller collection. I don't have too many pens inked up, actually, compared to what I normally do. No! That's a lie! I have a Hero 616. I think it's a 616. I forgot to look. Anyway, I'll correct it down here if I said the wrong model. Anyway, I've reviewed it before, but I bought a more expensive one than a 10-pack or so of the cheap ones. And I inked up a whole bunch of the cheap ones for a paper chromatography lab. And oh wow, they're cheap pens. They're leaking. Some of them won't fill. You know, those slightly more expensive one is pretty good, but the super cheap ones, ugh. So I didn't even bother including them here. Right now I'm kind of torn. Rinse them out and save them for the next chromatography lab, or junk them. I bought them to give away and I'm just not going to do it. Alright, so that said, let's take a look at what's inked up this week. Let's get it out of the way. I have the Lamy 2000, always is inked up. It's my daily writer. This is one of those pens you can just hold and you can write with and you are happy. It's a Lamy 2000, fine point. And of course I have this guy inked up with Noodler's Black. Just a wonderful pen, just for writing. I can't say enough good about it, and you're probably going to see this pen a lot. Now I have a couple others inked up. The Pelikan Twist is back. This time I've taken out the Pelikan cartridge because I finally, thank goodness, used it up. I put in a more interesting cartridge. I'm actually looking at ordering a converter for it. I have the Pelikan Twist. I don't remember the nib size. Maybe it doesn't have one. The ink in it is Diamine Ancient Copper. It's in a cartridge. Now, I suspect it's the pen, but one of my complaints with Diamine Ancient Copper has been the crusting. It doesn't seem to be doing it in this pen. Others I've used it on, yeah, big time crusting. In fact, that's what got me to try Noodler's Antietam, because it crusted too much. Now, here in this pen, looking good. I may have to do a side-by-side with the Noodler's Antietam and just see. And maybe just keep it out of the pens that crust. A couple other fun pens. Let's put it right side up this time. Last week I had some not-so-kind things to say about this Malarkey pen. Well, this week, prior to writing this, I just made the darn thing work. I wiped at the nib, I did the tapping on the paper, I did all that until I got it writing smoothly. And I will say, as long as it writes smoothly, it's a good pen. I'll tell you, last week, apparently I edited this out, but you see light right there through this? It's hard for me to keep it angled. You can see the text through it. This is a huge honking hole right in the end of the cap. I think that's the source of the drying out problem. So if I do keep this pen, I want to experiment with plugging that hole. But I wanted you to see it writing properly, and I want to get all this worked out before I actually review this pen. So this is a Malarkey. Oh, good golly, I swear. All right, I am a little angry now. Malarkey something or other. I don't remember the point. Now I'm a little angry to remember the point. And I swear, it's not brown either, it's black. I swear, 15 minutes ago, this thing was writing like a champ. Not happy to see that at all. Grr! That may be one of my really negative reviews. I don't like to do those. Usually if I buy a pen, I'm excited about it, or I'm thinking, hey, gift. This was a, hey, gift type of pen. And no, I don't even know what I'm going to do with the rest of the pack. Ick. So, look forward to the review whenever I get around to that, because definitely not reviewing it tomorrow, because I'm angry now. Happy? All right, now, I keep throwing you this at you. This is Ove Bjornsson and I traded pens. I got a vintage Pon 52. I planned tomorrow to film a review for this. Now, you won't see it for a few weeks yet, but I'm going to film it. It's a Pon 52, and of course, inked up with the lovely Sailor Epinard, which is sadly a discontinued ink. I would love to find the exact same ink somewhere. I do have one more bottle. This bottle is sadly almost empty. In fairness, I've had it for a couple of years, but yeah, it's getting torn empty and it's really sad. But lovely, lovely pen, decent amount of flex. It's plain, but wow, just something else. And I don't know about you, but I buy my pens to write with. If I'm not happy writing with it, it's not worth having. I do have a few deep thoughts about that at the end of this, so stay tuned. Real briefly, I have this Montegrappa Fortuna. It's the Barcelona Mosaico finish. It's a turquoise, and wow. I'm definitely enjoying my foray into Montegrappa. It's unfortunate that a lot of their pens I don't like. This is a broad. And what is it? KWZ, Iron Gall, Violet number 2. No, turquoise. Wow. Right in front of me. So when I say a lot of their pens I don't like, what I mean is I think a lot of their pens are just too over-decorated for me. I like this because it's simple. Nice. Eye-catching. Simple. I don't like the Copper Mule version of this. I don't like most of the other finishes on this. Yeah, I as much as pleased as I am with the writing on this and the way the pen acts, overall, I do not know that I'll be buying that many Montegrappas in the future. Sad to say. All right, what else do I have inked? Well, the Schmidt Intrinsic. I think this one was inked last week also. Schmidt Intrinsic. Broad nib. KWZ. Violet number 2. And it's an Iron Gall, and I forgot to put that in there. IG. Wow. I am not good at this whole evening thing. I just looked at the clock and it's only 8 o'clock, and I'm just thinking, wow. Happy. All right, and the last pen. I haven't used it in a while. It's a Jinhao 950. I was asked about it on my YouTube channel this week, and I thought, when is the last time I inked it up? So I inked it up. I love this porcelain. I love the dragon design on it. I think this is a very nice writer. It still suffers from the exact same problem as it did when I reviewed it, which is if it sits for a day, the ink kind of dries out and it goes on really dark at first. Then it seems like as the water gets into it, it goes back to normal. I haven't found a fix for that on any of the Jinhaos, except the screw cap ones don't seem to have the problem. So I'm just thinking it's an ineffective seal. But anyway, let's take a look here. Jinhao 950. I have no idea what size the nib is. And the ink is a sample. Pen pal Larry Barones, who's also reviews fountain pens on YouTube, sent me this sample. Robert, let's see if I get this right. Robert Oster. I don't remember. But I think I've told you before, this was sent by pen pal and fellow reviewer Chris Rapp 52, Robert Oster Marine. I'm using it as kind of an ink journal as I ink up a new pen. See, I didn't ink up that many pens this week. As I ink up a new pen, I just record it there. I am not sure, but maybe if I re-ink a pen, I should record it there, but I haven't done that, so I don't know. So Robert Oster Marine. He sent me a lot of samples of Robert Oster and Papier Plume, and it's interesting. I don't know any really struck my fancy in a big way, but it was interesting to try them all out. A couple of them actually made an appearance in my paper chromatography lab, so I may have to let you know about that too. I want to show you something else I've been doing. I've been doing all my reviews in a Epica notebook. Well, I'm putting putting my quotes, I'm getting more organized because I've looked at a lot of my old reviews and I think, wow, I just made a comment that's a quote to discuss more deeply at a future time, and then I never do. Well, because I forget about them. And I write them down on a piece of scrap paper like this, and then I forget that they're there. I forget what they were, and I forget I wanted to comment about them. I just had a comment today about one I did in, well, I think it was in my Pilot 743 review. And I just thought, yeah, I totally forgot. I was going to look her up. Turns out I had quite a lady in there. I'm drawing a blank about her name right at this exact instant, so I do apologize for that. But yeah. So I'm starting to record quotes here that I may or may not use in my reviews. Quotes like this, ooh, kind of long. I don't know. We'll see. But lots of good quotes. Education, life of the mind, religion, whatever strikes my fancy. And I honestly don't remember the brand of the notebook. But what I'm thinking is over Christmas, I want to talk about notebooks a little. I'm going to pause now to give my camera a little rest. Alright, so fun fact, you may or may not realize this. When you record video with a DSLR, which is what I'm using, a Canon 5D Mark II, so it's an older version that I bought after it was discontinued at several $1,000s cheaper than it was when it was new. Anyway, any DSLR, not just these old ones, run into a limit where the sensor starts to overheat because they're not really designed for continuous video. And so you can usually only record to like a max of 11 or 12 minutes of video on these, and then they shut themselves down. So since I don't know how long the edited form of the video is, but I had gotten myself to about 12 minutes, and I thought, yeah, better take a pause here. All right, so some of the things I'm trying out, now I have these new lights here. They worked pretty well at the dance. I'm happy with them. I'm working on the color, making myself and dances and such look more natural. I'm kind of thinking maybe it's time to start looking at actual customizing the white balance setting. But then again, I'm looking at the monitor here. This is a white shirt, and it definitely looks white in the monitor. That's I forget the name of the color. I don't really do colors. Anyway, it's a wall, and it looks more the right color when I look at the camera. Or I'm sorry, the monitor. So I think I'm getting the color worked out. Some of the other things I'm working out are sound. Now I have the temporary loan of a microphone. Let me see if I can pick this up without sounding gross. This is a Yeti Blue. Anyway, I have the loan of this for a little while to try it out. And if I like it, I will probably buy myself one. I see that they are on sale right now because, gosh, that's an expensive microphone. Otherwise, that's pretty expensive anyway. But speaking of that, that's something else to think about. Now, where do I head with this channel? As far as reviewing fountain pens, one of the common remarks I've gotten over the years I've been doing this is that I do review the lower cost fountain pens that people can afford. And I'd like to continue doing that. My bank account would like me to continue doing that. But at the same time, I think I've told you before about my trick where I lard up the Amazon shopping cart, and then after that lust to acquire goes away, I clean it out. Well, I was taking a look at the Amazon fountain or the Amazon shopping cart today. It's actually all larded up, but I need to empty it out because there's actually something I need to buy for school, and yeah, that's kind of actually important. And so I went to clean it out, and I looked at all these fountain pens, and I have, let's say 11 fountain pens, I believe was the count I had, because there were two other items. One was the school item, one was leads for that Centro Pen pencil. Anyway, so it must be 11 fountain pens, and I realized that I have about $90 worth of fountain pens there. Now, yes, that would be 11 fountain pens, but really, do I want them? Well, obviously not. I mean, I look at fountain pens and click add to cart all the time, and then I never buy them. So I am a lot more selective than that. But it does make a good point that I'm not going to start buying pens just because I want to review them. I want to buy pens that I want to try and possibly keep. And I am liking some of the more expensive ones. Now, it's kind of fun. I was very disappointed with this Malarkey. I mean, I honestly thought I'd be showing you some good writing tonight. And I'd say, yeah, if they just fix the drying out problem. But my God, if it's drying out after 15 minutes, that's a big problem. But anyway, overall, I like trying out pens that I think I would like or that I would like to give away as gifts. And just buying pens to have a cheap pen to review, This was a little bit more expensive pen here, this Montegrappa. And honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. I keep inking it up. When I review it tomorrow, my praise is just going to be overflowing. And you can, if you buy fewer pens, you can buy more expensive ones, just less of them. And I'm a believer in that. I mean, I own a Toyota Camry. It was way slammed up against the upper limits of my budget for a car when I bought it. But fun fact, I'm 41 years old. I am on the second car I've ever owned in my life. I buy quality used cars. My first one was a used 1990 Geo Prism. I kept that thing till it was 14 years old. This is a 2000 Toyota Camry. It's still going strong. It is now 16 years old. I keep things for a long time, and the reason you can keep things for a long time is, first of all, you take care of them, but second of all, you buy quality. So I'm starting to think about that with fountain pens more and more too. I'm really enjoying the Thornton's fountain pens. I want to try refilling them. I think they're going to make good giveaway pens. Might also make good pens for traveling with when I'm worried about the risk to the pen. But, as far as a pen I want for myself, oh heck no. I used to really love the Noodler's pens. I do enjoy them still. I was just using the Noodler's Nippon set. In fact, later tonight I'm going to be inking up a Noodler's Conrad so I can write out some cards and things. I'm going to use a not Noodler's nib, but that's another story. We'll cover that next week. But anyway, so I'm buying more expensive pens now and fewer of them. Now I think there is a limit. When I look at a pen and say, wow, that's more than a house payment. Yeah, I don't care how much you save. If you're at that point, maybe it's time to just question it. But then again, if you're budgeting for everything, we all have our little luxuries. Well, I'll tell you one of the little luxuries, and I don't know how this will record. I know it's not going to record, so I won't bother showing you. I was going to pick up my computer, which is over here, and show you how awful the monitor is right now. I need to get that down to Rapid City and get it fixed at the Apple repair shop. Trouble is, that's 3 hours down, 3 hours back, and when do I want to spend 6 hours out of my day? Especially right now. We have been having quite the weather this week and last week. Right now it's very cold. In fact, right now it's -8 Fahrenheit. That's cold. I don't like to drive in that kind of weather if I don't have to, especially that far. And I don't like to do that to my poor old car either. So, yeah, I don't know when I'll get this down. I'm almost tempted to see if I can just get it repaired through the mail. I don't know. But anyway, the point of all this is, well, I guess there isn't really a point. Do you hate it when you lose track of what the hell you're trying to say? I just lost track of what the hell I'm trying to say. Ooh, as if you couldn't guess. Anyway, I'm looking. Oh, here's how we look at the computer screen. Ew. And there's me. Oh, double ew. Okay, so there's lots of things to spend money on, so you have to budget and be able to deal with all of them. But if you buy higher quality things, like the car I have is higher quality, which is why it's lasted so long. You buy higher quality pens, you buy higher quality computer, you buy higher quality camera. These things will last a long time. You buy cheap, it dies cheap. Now this is the first, here's where the careful comes in. I've owned a laptop computer since 1994. This is not my first one. My first one was a compact Contura of some kind. It ran Windows 3.1. It had 4 megabytes of memory, which I expanded to 8, and 150 megabyte hard drive. That thing actually still runs, although the hinge is getting a little wonky as the plastic has started to break just because of the age. But I've always taken care of the things I own. Um, that's how you can afford to buy nice things. You buy a little bit nicer, it'll be higher quality, it'll last. Now, sometimes it doesn't matter. If it's something that's going to get run around all over the place, don't buy high quality. Buy something that you don't mind breaking. But on the whole, quality pays. So I think I will continue as they catch my eye to buy some of the cheaper fountain pens. I was curious about the Pelikan M800 knockoff, so I'll be looking at one of them. It's it's an attractive pen too, and Jinhao does actually have decent writing instruments. I've learned a little bit more from all of this, some of the history of Jinhao and Hero, and how they came to have the Parker clip. So I may have softened a little on that. We'll see. But anyway, as far as the future, I think you're going to see more pen comparisons. I also would like to film. I can't film a whole review of a single notebook. I just can't. But I may film one or two videos where we look at some notebooks that I've used and tried, the ones that I actually like. I can't imagine filming a whole review on Robert Oster Marine ink, but I can imagine maybe filming a review where I talk about a bunch of inks. So I'm not sure yet where that's going to head. And of course, I have lots of pen rodeos in mind. And I know it's a limited audience, but I've also been enjoying doing the driving videos. And I learning other things by doing the driving videos. Plus, sometimes they give me an incentive to get out of the house. So yeah, don't expect the driving videos to end, even though they do have a limited audience. If you don't like them, don't watch them. I've been very lucky with my audience. I don't have troll problems. I had one a few weeks ago, but took care of him. I don't have problems. I'm just really having a positive experience here, and I hope it continues. This pens in use has been kind of fun. It's just sometimes it's very chatty like today. Sometimes it's just, oh yeah, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh yeah, I got to get ready for school tomorrow. Bye. And that's kind of fun. And I think it's good for you to see what I'm actually using, because although I review a pen, and sometimes I'll be using a pen like this one just for the regularly, just to get used to it, so I form an opinion of it before I review it. It's also things like this guy finding out that, oh yeah, he does actually use that Schmidt intrinsic, or yeah, he said nice things about Noodlers, but then I never see them inked, or yeah, Lamy 2000 always inked. That's something for me and for you to see. And I'm also thinking, I don't know how I want to do it yet. Some of the other reviewers have done a top 10. I may do that yet this year. We'll see. I don't know if I want to do a top 10 fountain pens that I own, or a top 10 that I've reviewed this year, or maybe one of each. I don't know. It seems like everybody else is doing it, so why don't I? By the way, did you notice that you can't see me? That's because somewhere while I was watching the camera, the sensor overheated and it was done. I think that's a clue for me. Maybe it's time for me to be done. So I thank you for watching. Can't see me, so I'll just wave with my fingers. And hope this was interesting. Hope it was useful. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.